that, unfortunately. We are broadcasting the finals, which is PECS versus Payzone and Shotsport versus Blind Pick Banditos. So it's very interesting to see that happen. It's pretty awesome. Now look at these bands. For anyone who was watching last week, we saw Olaf run the show, so he's getting banned straight away by Blind Pick Banditos.
There you go. Some yeah, I mean more and more teams have been confident in just kind of banning out more, somewhat targeted bans. And I would say a lot of it is because back when there were only three bans, people had to just get used to playing against these favorite champions, overall favorite champions, such as Jax, Pantheon, Malphite, those characters. So I think they're like, you know what? If anything, we'd rather deal with something we're used to dealing with, and kind of ban out these champions that we're not used to facing. We don't want to have to deal with these unique things or kind of niche picks that these summoners bring out, and that's what we'll roll with. So Olaf was banned, as you mentioned. Poppy again banned against Eulalia here, but other than that, we don't see Riven nor Ezreal banned out. Ezreal was picked up though by PECS, so taking that away from Talent PA. And we are waiting for the picks from Blind Pick Banditos. In the meantime, if this is your first time visiting, welcome, welcome. This is the finals for this week's tournament. It's a best of three. This is game one. And let me just make sure. I've been kind of behind in updating the title. But yep, so it is the first game. And you can check out Dominate Dominion at the website dominatedominion.com. There's a Facebook, facebook.com/Dominate Dominion with capital D's, and then there's also the Twitter at Dominate Dom. Also in game, you can check out the community in the Dominate Dominion chat room, and also the Dominion chat room if you're on the EU West server.
Make sure you check us out on Twitter, Facebook, at Dominate Dom, Twitter, facebook.com/Dominate Dominion. There's in-game chat channels, and you can find, if you like us casters, Chobra is at Chobra LOL on Twitter, and my gaming clan, Vato Clan, you can follow. It's at Vato Clan. The videos of all the games that were cast in the tournament will be posted to my clan's YouTube channel, youtube.com/Vato Clan. The VOD stands for video on demand, in case anyone doesn't know. The VODs from this tournament will be posted by Monday to that YouTube channel. So you'll be able to see all the games again with alternate camera angles. So check those out. My camera control actually is not the best because today in particular my wrist is acting up. So the camera's a little jerky in the VODs. I'm sorry about that in advance. Seeing Painkiller highlight a lot of different champions, rotating through them. Pick the sad mummy. There you go. He's not gonna be sad. He got chosen. No need to cry, Amumu. And seeing Tal of PA highlight that Riven there. And looks like Jaja's highlighting Udyr. Seems pretty standard
Yep, I
for
mean,
blind pick.
yeah, that's kind of expected. You leave Riven open, and no other champion that Talith likes to often play open. Most likely, Talith will pick a Riven instead of Jaja, and Jaja's going to be okay with taking Udyr bot once again. We do see a Kog'Maw was picked up early for blind picks, so most likely going to go to a Parkhurst once again, and they're just kind of waiting on who to pick up for Zemike. I would assume, that is my assumption here. Of course, anything could happen, but Sona was taken away by PECS. So again, a PECS choosing to ban out just Poppy and Lulu as targeted bans, or specifically targeted bans, and then just kind of banning out these other strong champions they don't want to deal with, and they decide, you know what, we have first pick, we can kind of force them into picking other champions, and we're going to pick away some of the more favored ones, such as Ezreal and Sona, and now that forces Blind Pick Banditos to have to accommodate to that by picking someone else up, most likely for Zemike. Meanwhile, we see a Fizz highlighted and a Kale highlighted. I believe we've seen Fizz quite a few times now being played by PECS. Kale, we saw earlier today, had a little bit of, it was more so the communication issue between the teammates on those the interventions, rather than just a mistake on just one player's fault. It was just kind of the timing, the initiation wasn't as clean cut as it could have been. But of course, Kale does have a pretty good kit. Meanwhile, Janna is going to be highlighted by Blind Pick Banditos.
And we'll see if they Decide to lock that one in just a moment or so here. I like the Fizz pick. Fizz is a pretty dangerous champion because of his playful trickster and his ability to front load a lot of damage. I like seeing him chosen. We're seeing another Kale. We saw Kale earlier on in the event, and I think that game accurately highlighted just how fragile and how damaging Kale can be. So we'll see how well Infeed is able to control that Kale. Picking up Ezreal, which means they don't have to deal with Talith PA having it, which is a very good thing for them. But Eulalia's on that Warwick again. In the other game, she was going for 1 kill a minute with her. We'll see if she has the same kind of luck again.
Yeah, that was just crazy, crazy good performance with that Warwick. 10 seconds left, and then we'll have to wait for the delay. Once again, this is finals game number 1 between PECS on the blue team. That's Pays Level and Child Support. And then Blind Pick Banditos, or BPB, on the purple team. The lineups have been set. We haven't really spent too much time today talking about summer spells per se, because a lot of it has been pretty much standard. Of course, for those of you who are new to Dominion overall, you're probably quite shocked by the number of revives, but revive is in fact the most preferred summoner spell, just because as Gander likes to say, you can only counter a revive specifically by taking another revive, because it's all about that timing. It's all about having it for those clutch saves on those the tower channels, especially for bot lane, or if your middle tower gets taken, it's right next to the base. You can get right up there. Of course, also for the windmill fight, it's quite advantageous. Oftentimes, we see some teams trying to go with more aggressive summoner spells, and they have some success in certain team fights, but then other times when they do get taken out, when they do get aced, you just feel the consequence so much of not being able to come right back up.
I just want to talk about PECS for a brief moment here. We talked about blind pick banditos earlier on in the tournament, and how blind pick and point defense have been sort of the old guard of the dominating teams that are active in Dominion. Pixel and Child Support is a newer team. They came around Dominate Dominion #1 under the name of Real Terror, and then changed their name to Payzevil and Child Support in all events subsequent to that one. So they don't have quite the same prolific amount of games that their teams have. They've only played 43 games in a competitive environment so far across 13 different events. But in those 13 events, they've got 3 first place finishes, 2 second place finishes, 5 third place finishes, and 1 fourth place finish. So ever since they've showed up, they've been a team that's definitely competitive, that's placing highly in tournaments week after week after week. Now, for Payzone and Child Support versus Blind Pick Banditos in particular, Payzone and Child Support has won 4 games. Blind Pick Banditos has won 8 out of the times they have rendered. They played 12 games against each other, and PEX is only winning a third of the time. But last week, they were able to pull off a 2-1 victory against Blind Pick. We'll see if maybe they can pull off something like that again here.
As I keep saying every week, we just see kind of rivalries. Wow, that's a hard word to pronounce. Rivalries being switched out more and more as newer teams grow, as of course veterans improve constantly, but newer teams not only improve on their own, but they bring out newer playstyles. They bring out newer champions. Each summoner has their own kind of niche champions, and newer players, you're not used to seeing what they're used to. Maybe they've been practicing up a certain champion in solo queue, and you just had no idea because no other team in the tournament used to play them. Things like that really kind of shakes things up a bit in this tournament, but it's really nice to see. I think it really contributes to the growth of the whole competitive Dominion scene. We will be loading into this match though right away. The full lineups are set, and as we go in, we'll kind of do a quick review of each team's lineups, and then we'll start right away with game 1 of the finals tonight for Dominate Dominion number 17 between PECS and Blind Pick Banditos. There we go. I was hoping that my game wouldn't crash, and gladly it did not. So on the blue team here, which is the top of the screen, we're going to have PECS and Child Support, or PECS as we call them, as that is their acronym. That is Infeed on Kale, Captain Blueberry on Ezreal, Painkiller on Amumu, Half-Hearted on Sona, and Confiteris on Fizz. My name is Chobra, one of your casters for the night, and who do we have on the purple team, Gander?
Well, in this first game of the finals, Blind Pick Banditos versus PECS. On Blind Pick Banditos' team, we have Zamike playing as Janna, Ilalia playing as Warwick, Talith PA playing as Riven, Jaja playing as Udyr, and a Parkhurst playing as Kog'Maw.
Alright, so we load in. Gonna wait for people to kind of pick up their items, wait for the summoner platforms to be finished. Of course, there's a little bit of a delay here before the match begins. It is going to be, in fact, the kind of trademark Jaja Udyr on bot lane for Blind Pick Banditos, and so far it appears that it's going to be Kale to counter that push here in the bottom lane for PECS and Child Support.
My screen not load again, so I'm going to duck out and try and spectate back in.
Alrighty, no problem. Don't see anything too out of the ordinary. There is the double Doran shield, which of course you don't really see on anyone else, but Jaja has pretty much run with that build on Udyr for quite a while now with great success, so I'm not too surprised. Otherwise, a lot of prospector items. We do see a Kindle gem on Warwick, which is quite a nice pickup actually. Of course, it gives health and it also gives that cooldown, both of which Warwick can use to great success. And then there is the Chalice of Harmony on Janna. Alright, so the last part of the summer platform is going to come out, and then we will begin with the action in this game. Battle has begun. All the players are moving out, and we'll see who kind of comes out victorious up at the windmill. This is pretty much the standard way the Dominion games tend to roll out. Of course, a couple weeks back we did see a mix-up by Cheese Enema, who went for an early 4-man in bot, actually getting a really early 3-cap. But other than that, pretty much standard to go for that early windmill and kind of have a poke war here between. We do see a little bit of trading going back and forth, some mystic shots, and this is kind of where, of course, Ezreal shines quite a bit. That mystic shot is going to shine a lot early on. Talith PA and Commentaris, meanwhile, dueling outside the wall, but Amumu comes in with help with that bandage toss. That leaves a Parkhurst open to have taken quite a bit of damage. This is actually turning out really badly for Blind Pick Banditos. They've been split because of that duel between Fizz and Riven. Ilalia does come down to assist, but Bandage Toss comes out, and Talith PA, not in a good place, does get nuked down for that first blood, going to Fizz. Janna does go down afterwards. Captain Blueberry is going to pick up another kill, a double kill, this time going against Ilalia, and PECS is going to be absolutely victorious in taking away this windmill. Really, really good plays. They made the right choices in splitting up that fight, and that actually left a lot of people just open to more poke damage on the Blind Pick Bandito side. Meanwhile, though, the good part is because that victory was so decisive, a lot of the people from Blind Pick have saved their revives. Talith PA did use it immediately, tried to come in for help, but realized that the rest of the team was pretty much taken down and no one else used their revives. Meanwhile, Captain Blueberry has been exhausted, taking a lot of damage from a Parkhurst Comet despite being exhausted, but Painkiller comes in with an excellent bandage toss and puts down that Garrison right away to help with the aggression coming out from the minion wave, and also a lot of the members of Blind Pick Banditos. They're now focusing down onto Confiteris. Confiteris is really, really low, but there is the save once again from Painkiller. Just excellent bandage tosses, and also really, really good exhaust goes down onto Talith PA. Meanwhile, Parkhurst actually gets taken out by Half-Hearted. Painkiller is really, really low right now. So is Confiteris, but wow, they bandage toss once again across the wall, and Fizz jumps over to assist with that, and then the crescendo locks down the kill onto Ilalia. PECS is just playing phenomenally in the early parts of this first game. Ezreal's still sticking around as Talith PA tries to help push with Micah. Parkhurst comes back with full health. There is the Eye of the Storm, giving that little shield buff onto that Kog'Maw. However, Ilalia has found Captain Blueberry up top, forced him out of that rush, runs into Riven. Riven's going to pick up the Wind Slash, And finally, Blind Pick Banditos take back the windmill, and now they hold the 3 cap to try to catch up in the Nexus energy. It's 45 to 437. Meanwhile, bot lane, nothing too out of the ordinary happening. Jaja continuing to push down. It's been pretty much a stalemate, it appears. Meanwhile, Kog'Maw gets caught in the middle here in that kind of tri-brush, as it might be. But that's not really going to result in a kill for either team. Both teams just taking their time to regroup. I mean, PECS is in a really good situation. They're still quite a bit ahead, and Commentaries actually dives under the tower. Not in the best of situations. Uses Chum the Waters to get a good nuke down onto Riven and also CC, and used Playful Trickster to try to deny that tower growth, but I had already taken down so much damage. It does get taken down. Meanwhile, Painkiller actually gets the kill onto Warwick with an excellent bandage toss to deny any further damage and kills him during that stun timing. Really, really well played by Painkiller. It was looking like a really grim duel, but he comes out on top. Meanwhile, Captain Blueberry is chasing down some Mike with that Storm Shield. Painkiller tried to turn around with that bandage toss, will not be successful, but Mike didn't have the damage to finish off and trade the kills, so eventually goes down to the aggression of PECS, and they once again regain their 3 cap, and you know, they're, as long as they stay in this position, they're going to be really happy. Meanwhile, bot lane, Jaja actually in a lot of trouble. Confrontier is trying to chase through, but Jaja actually has an early Warden's Mail, so that forces commentators to stop the chase, and that's a really, really good pickup, because even in a duel, Kale's also not going to be able to continue chasing with her speed boost whenever Udyr tries to get away. While top, we do see Kog'Maw back up here with Janna, and now we see Talon's has shown up with that Riven with a Storm Shield, and we talked about a Riven with a Storm Shield, how scary that can be, so we'll see if this is going to help Blind Pick Banditos really change the momentum back around. Elia, he comes up to join forces, but Commentaries and Painkiller are coming in from behind. Are they going to try to go for this converging team fight once again? Elia actually uses Infinite Duress down with Commentaries, and there comes the Keepers to follow through, but the Wind Slash is going to miss, and Commentaries jumps right on out of there. Painkiller tried to help with the bandage toss. It was successful, but that put himself in danger, and Painkiller goes back in with the bandage toss to just stall this chase. Is trying to run to the speed shrine, but of course Riven is super mobile, is going to catch up. Meanwhile, Kog'Maw has been taken down by Ezreal, and now it's just Warwick and Janna left to try to keep pushing down against this windmill, but they are up against Sona and Ezreal, both at full health, so it's pretty much an even matchup, but of course PECS has the defender's advantage at this windmill.
What timestamp are you at? I just got back in.
I am just about to hit 7 minutes.
7:02, 7:03?
Yep, and Eulalia has just taken a little bit of poke at top.
Alright, cool. I'm back up to date with things. Sorry about that. For some reason I'm allergic to games that infeed is in. You got a Moo hanging around in the middle here. Painkiller and Talith Pay having a little meet and greet over there by the jungle, but a Parkhurst is going to try and get some damage in on him as well when he pokes his head. Confidar is just hanging back there. Painkiller misses with the bandage toss. Responding with the broken wings there, but there was no one to hit on it since Amumu had missed with that attack. Another moving back up to the windmill, grouping up for what looks like another engagement.
Yep, I mean, PECS has been in a really good position. Oh, there comes an excellent bandage toss, and then the Curse of the Sand Mummy onto 3 people. But PECS was not prepared to capitalize onto that fight. Can they follow through afterwards? Windslash trying to pick up a kill across the wall. Not successful, but a really, really good True Shot Barrage comes in, puts down a lot of good damage. Meanwhile, Commentaries does get a good Chum the Waters, but Eye of the Storm is going to help Mike stay and not get picked off afterwards. Of course, also Lalia and Talon Pay turned around to pick up that kill. So in the end, I'm not sure if anyone really came out on top from that. I mean, PECS, of course, was able to drive away Blind Pick Banditos, but they weren't as dominating. Had that worked out a lot better, had the rest of the team been prepared to capitalize on that Amumu ultimate, they might have been able to take this throw without a problem afterwards.
And Infeed and Jaja exchanging some blows down here. No real, like, significant engagements or anything like that. Just a little back and forth poke right here. Infeed a little bit lower on mana than Jaja is. Sona going for the Storm Shield in the center here, but breaking off. Just kind of maybe baiting that attack in. A little bit of exchange for both people. Both of them going back around the opposite direction with each other. And they're just going to leave Ezreal alone up there. They're going to break down here where there's only going to be a 4v3. Ezreal's going to be a little bit late to the party coming in. Fizz has already gone down. Half-Heart looking to get low too. Mike turns around to go for the top. Captain Blueberry is right there to get in the way of that. Eulalia going for suppress on Painkiller, but Riven with a very pretty double kill. Talith PA cutting them down. right there. Going to go for the neutral on that, but Sona has hit the revive. She's coming back onto the field right there. She does stop them from getting a full cap, is able to save it at a neutral point, and Blind Pick is going to fall back towards the windmill.
Yeah, but this leaves Blind Pick available to continue chasing down Captain Blueberry, who doesn't have mana to escape. Will get taken down, and now they should be able to take this windmill. They don't have the speed coming out from PECS to be able to stop this. The neutralize goes down easy. They do get the disruption onto Elia, but the capture will go down thanks to Talonflame sticking to it. Elia will get taken down by the nuke from Fizz though, and there's a Chum in the Waters that separates Mike away from Talonflame. Very, very good play coming out from this Fizz, and a double kill and then a shutdown going to Sona. Very, very well played by PECS.
And see, Fizz down there, he's opting for a Gnasher's Tooth. It's an item we do not see too often. He really wants to get that extra attack speed in there as well, because Fizz likes to dive and get close range. If you can get those extra hits in, it's only going to increase your effectiveness.
Well, a little bit of a dance going on between the two teams here at the Storm Shields. Kog'Maw really wants to pick up this Storm Shield. At the same time, they want to deny the enemy Storm Shield from Ezreal. So a little bit of dance, but the rest of the teammates from both teams have converged, and now it's going to be possibly a full team fight here in the middle of the jungle. There comes Elia right onto Captain Blueberry, locks him down, but he's going to be able to jump right on out with an Arcane Shift and a really good Curse of Sand Mummy once again. This time everyone was prepared. A lot of damage going out on both sides, but Kog'Maw is the first to go. Mummy gets taken down afterwards by Zemai. Talonflame is going to pick up the kill with the Keepers and then live through with that Hex Drinker shield, but not going to be enough. Meanwhile, Captain Blueberry gets zoned out, and Elia once again just sticking to the targets, living through the team fights, playing exceptionally well, and will stay to get that neutralized and potentially a cap, but most likely not, as Sona, Amumu, and Fizz are all going to be coming up right here.
And you see there, Janna breaking off to go to Windmill. You don't need two people there to get the refinery. You just leave one there. She's got just fine. And Janna cuts off to the top to be able to get it at the same time.
Yep, so that's actually going to be really, really good for Blind Pick Banditos. Of course, they're naturally going to lose the cap at the refinery, but they hold this 3 cap for a little bit. Meanwhile, Udyr has been pretty much kind of pushed out in favor, but that leaves it open for a gank, and we do see Confronteras coming in from behind. Jaja needs to watch out right now. Infeed, thankfully, is a little bit out of mana, but that's not going to matter because the burst from Fizz is immense. There's the dot. He's going to live with that turtle stance once more, but follows through with Urchin Strike to pick up that kill. So Fizz is just doing a ton of burst damage right now as long as he can find his targets.
In the middle of the map is Mike, looking with the Hextech Sweeper. Throwing it down there, making sure that there's no one in those bushes. Hextech Sweeper is an awesome item. Very underrated, and I think underused in a lot of circumstances. A half-hard sticking his head out there, but Blind Pick Banditos descends upon that. Painkiller right in the middle there. Just the ult stack goes down. Parkhurst taking a ton of damage. Confrontaris will be the next one to follow, as Mike hanging around outside of the fight. Windslash goes down there, and Elia throwing down the Suppress on Blueberry. Wants to really limit his damage output there. And Painkiller is going to be the next one. Can they get half-hearted too and sweep this?
They are going to chase through just fine. Riven has that mobility, has the Storm Shield. They just need one more attack. Will get it despite the tower hit going down on the Talith. And they should get this neutralized no problem. Once again, BPB has been holding on to this 3 cap and constantly been pecking away at the refinery. They're actually just going to leave it neutralized this time. They decide, you know what, we've been holding on to this 3 cap for quite a while. We don't need to risk dying for a full cap. So they're just going to leave it, take, you know, the little advantages that they are starting to gain here and there. In that last fight, it was actually kind of unfortunate for that ult stack by PECS. It was a little bit too instant, meaning that Sona's ultimate was not as utilized. The stun was pretty much stacked right on top of each other, which meant the full duration did not happen, and that allowed you know, BPB to just ignore the fact that Crescendo was used. They got out as both Crescendo and Curse of Sand Mummy kind of lasted out from their stuns. The fight turned right back around for BPB. Fizz jumps right onto Zemike, but they were not aware that Elia Talithia were right there to come through. Talithia does get knocked up by that Chum in the Waters, but is still alive thanks to Janna. Kog'Maw comes in for that damage system. Talithia finally goes down. Shutdown going to Painkiller on a move. They're now sticking to Parkers. They want to take away the damage sources right away, but so does BPB. Elia sticks onto Captain Blueberry, but really well saved Crescendo. This time stopping that infinite duress. Captain Blueberry jumps back. Is going to start kiting with that arcane shift. That leaves Half-Hearted as a victim though, and Talithia has come back with that revive, and that should be an easy kill onto Haypart. Painkiller also hiding out, comes back in with the Crystal Satellite to try to save his teammates, but Eulalia is still alive with the help of Eye of the Storm. Fizz is not able to pick up the kill just yet. The dot is not enough. Eulalia is still alive, might even try to come back in here to pick up the kill and sees that the cooldowns are blown by Fizz. Can Eulalia get a Hungering Strike to help? As a matter of fact, doesn't even need to. Kama's going to pick it up from across the wall with a Void Ooze, and Warwick gets out alive. Blind Bandito comes out on top from that fight.
And while that was going on, there was engagement down bottom, which you'll have to watch the VOD to see between Udyr and Kale, where Kale had a really excellent ult time and then able to pick up a kill from Udyr, but you saw that there was a revive play right afterwards where Udyr was almost able to avenge that kill immediately there, chased Kale all the way back to her tower, and then Kale countered with another revive and chased Udyr away. Neither tower ended up getting captured because of that revive play. It was very good down there. In the middle of the map, however, Painkiller is getting slowed, getting harassed there a little bit. Blind Pick Banditos. The mic cutting around the bottom makes me a little scared when Janna gets away from the team like that, and they're just going to fall back up the point here. They're going to take care of some of these minions. They don't want too much damage to too much caps to get damage. They don't want things to happen to their tower that are bad.
And meanwhile, Kale now once again has some good push going down onto Jaja. Has been able to turn this back around despite Udyr having had a little bit of an advantage in the first early pushes. Of course, the Boneyard and the Quarry are the marked objectives for the quest on the Crystal Scar right now. So they're a little bit of a contested point, but top is quite open as Taltia was the only one left. 3v1 easy kill for PECS, but a really good garrison from across the wall coming down from Eulalia. Parkus also comes through, but Parkus is going to get taken down right away, and he had just gotten that Storm Shield. Very unfortunate. That leaves Eulalia alone against 4 people. Eulalia is quite tanky, has the tower advantage, but isn't going to be able to pick up a single kill as the 4 people just nuke him down. And Warwick goes down. The 4 people are going to be able to capture this windmill for PECS.
Now Blind Pick Banditos is going to have to chill out for a second, regroup before making a serious play for that tower. It's Mike just hanging out above there. Oh, getting shot by Booberry. It's not a very friendly thing to happen, but now it's just Booberry up here. With the Hextech Sweeper revealing that, they're going to make a play, and Awali's going to go in for the suppress immediately, wants to keep him shut down. Halfhard saving him from a subsequent stun when Riven came into that fight, using the Crescendo in order to disable him. And there goes off the True Shot Barrage. Their Confederates coming up from the side, diving in. They want to put that her on Tal's pit. They want to get Tal's down as much as possible. Janna with the knockback there. And they might get this, but Confederates getting hit really hard there. He is going to go down. Now Tal is gone from the fight. Parkhurst, they're working on him next. And now it's Eulalia and Zamite against Painkiller and Half-Hearted. But the PECS players have the tower. I don't think Blind Pick can push that right this moment.
Yeah, meanwhile, bot lane, Jaja picks up a kill and is going to start channeling on this. If he can get this, that's going to help maybe turn things around up top because of the buff. Of course, Eulalia has regained some health, as Warwick can do, and there is the damage. There's an infinite dress onto Painkiller. Painkiller will go down immediately. Hayparted now is going to be the next target. The minions actually help neutralize this, so they're going to start pushing away. And Hayparted, Eulalia starts channeling as Mike tries to zone out Sona, but Sona's still just putting down some cheeky poke to stop that channeling. Tal's Piano Parkers, however, returns, and they're going to be able to pick up this windmill, no problems. Eulalia has not been touched, and channeling through that tower to get the 3 cap for Blind Pick Banditos once again.
And Blind Pick Banditos haven't recovered any. That's a synchronized recall. That was creepy. Covering up for that deficit that they had a little bit earlier on in the game, and now they are on top in the Nexus Health, causing PECS to be on the retreating side of the Nexus Health there is ticking down. See Blind Pick Banditos grouping up in the middle here. They want to stay together, they don't want to get caught one by one and get picked off there. Ezreal going for the Storm Shield. The Hextech Sweeper shows that those bushes were clear, so they're not afraid to dive into it, and they go out to interrupt him. Painkiller jumps in with a great ultimate right there by Amumu. Sona following up with her own, keeping them locked down just a little bit longer. However, it doesn't seem to have had too significant of an effect as the fight goes on. Talith is getting a little bit low on health there, but Blueberry took a lot of damage and has been chased out. Amumu gets killed. And now it's just Half-Hearted. Ooh, that was a scary ult from Captain Blueberry, but didn't yet net any kills for the team, and they descend on him now. He's going to have to, yeah, he gets that arcane shift on out of there. Sona with the revive coming back into the fight to chase them away. Sona might actually be able to pick up a kill on Janet. Nope, not with that slow from Kog'Maw there.
Yeah, very well played slow. And you know, as you mentioned, it was a good ult from Amumu, but once again, the rest of PECS wasn't prepared. This time around, Havehearted put down a really good crescendo afterwards to really maximize the potential of their AoE stuns. However, again, the damage was not ready. The damage was not present close enough to capitalize on that time, and it really just gave PECS time to group up during that stun rather than put out some free damage onto the entire team of Blind Pig Banditos. So Blind Pig Banditos was able to turn that back around. However, it lands an excellent jump the waters, nukes Kog'Maw down, and that is what Fizz is good at, a bit of a bursty assassin mage here. They're going down onto Talonthea, but Talonthea lives with Valor and the shield from the Mom Mortius. However, that's not going to be enough. Gets taken down. Trusha Barrage helps pick up the kill onto Zemike on Janna. They're continuing to chase down Eulalia, and PECS is actually turning this around quite efficiently. Zemike has come back up with an excellent garrison and defends this solo for the time being, but it's a 4v1. Zemike will go down eventually. Havehearted has started channeling on the tower. It's going to be a 4-man channel. The Neutralize will go down immediately. Can they get the cap and survive to defend this tower? We do see Havehearted branching off. Painkiller's going to go ahead and go for that health relic. No, they're actually going to maybe just give up this tower. They will still have a 3 cap. Commentarius diving onto Talonthea does get taken down eventually. However, Parker's also gets bursted down in return. Talonthea gets out alive, is going to be able to walk back to the base to regen and return to the fight.
I'm putting a lot of hurt on him, forcing him out of that fight. Janna a little bit too tanky to try and make a play on right now.
Talonthea comes back at full health alongside Zemike. They're gonna be able to get this tower despite the true shot barrage. Of course, Zemike was still able to channel, and Talonthea also trying to get out of the way with that Valor. Eulalia, meanwhile, has just single-handedly chased away this Ezreal. Doesn't want to dive though, just wants to poke back and forth. Will be able to pick up the kill if Eulalia can get in range. So Ezreal needs to really watch out how he goes about that poke. But here comes Commentaries once again, and a good crescendo going backwards to stop the pinch from Riven and Janna. It is still technically a 3v2 as Warwick has been taken down. Here comes Painkiller. Vanish toss will miss, but Riven is living quite in while you slash nearly puts out some good damage onto Captain Blueberry, but Captain Blueberry is still alive, and they're going to continue chasing. They have that 3 cap, they know it's safe, and they want to completely zone it out, but an excellent can coming out, artillery shot coming out from a Parker's to pick up the kill onto Commentaries.
And now Half-Hearted up here with Painkiller off the point, though. Half-Hearted taking quite a bit of damage there before Painkiller is able to get to the top point there.
So BPB just waiting for one really hard push, because right now the game is nearing the end for both teams, and there's a Curse of the Sad Mummy, and Zemike actually uses her ult to push them away, and Captain Blueberry gets caught away, cannot make the arcane shift over the wall, gets taken down, and that's a huge portion of PECS' damage that's taken out really early. Parkers has started the channel onto this tower, and there's still 4 people left. However, Zemike is left. Chump the Waters will not connect. Can Commentaries continue on and get a kill? No, there is once again the shield from the Mama Warriors passive for Talonthea, allowing Riven to survive, but also if you know the item Mama Warriors, it gives more attack damage as you lose health. It's based on how much health you currently don't have away from your, or you know, based on your missing health. So that's an excellent item for Riven. Has been really advantageous to have that so far against this Fizz. Meanwhile, Jaja is completely zoning out in feed from this minion wave, just keeps pushing through, putting out some good damage, but of course decides not to dive this tower. Right now it's BPB with the 3 cap. Good Vanish Toss lands onto a Parkus, but it's not going to be followed through just yet.
Talonthea getting caught by a few people there, but Talonthea's got quite a bit of hit points, seems to be doing okay for right now. Blueberry in an extremely good position, hanging out outside of the fight, just throwing damage in, staying completely out of harm's way. Very good position for Captain Blueberry to have been in during that engagement now. It looks like they really want to get Eulalia down because they know how dangerous she can be. And they are going to secure that kill as well, and now going for Zemike there. Confederaris making that play, getting it done, making things happen. As you're saying down earlier, bottom, Jaja and infeed. Jaja has completely shut down infeed for the most part down here. If you look at Kale's build, double Phantom Dancer and Berserker's Treads, and we got an engagement going on up at the top. Nice little Zhonya's Hourglass by Confederaris there, saving him from the CC from Talonthea, giving enough time to wait for some cooldowns and stuff. And there we go, we got the Shark coming up. Hit him for some damage. Parkhurst being able to pick him off right there. Janna Seeing Booberry there taking a shot off at him. But yeah, Udra's got a Thorn Mail against that build down there bottom, so it's really hard for Kale to make war going on. He just did pick up a kill bottom lane too while I was talking. Udra was able to get a kill on Infeed, but Infeed revives and comes back onto the field just fine. And can Booberry defend this 1-on-3? I don't think he can. No, he is going to go down, unfortunately.
So BPB once again trying to take back this 3-cap. It's being handed off back and forth between these two teams. Now it's 61-32 on the Nexus Energy in favor of PECS for the time being, but that's going to change quickly if BPB can hold on to this 3-cap for just a little bit longer. It's going to turn into a tie, and it's going to come down to just 1 or 2 more team fights. A lot of revives are still on cooldown, so that's also going to come into play as the death timers are quite long at this point. A lot of the champions, or pretty much everyone, is at level 18 now. So that's going to play a big part. A lot of the builds have been more or less finished on both sides. Both teams being really cautious to make a big play. PECS knows they still have a little bit more time to make a play. Bandage Toss goes down, but actually an excellent Howling Gale stops the advance from Amumu. So Mike is still taking a lot of damage, but they're able to single out Confiteers, take him down, takes down a huge part of the burst coming out from PECS, and now Eulalia trying to zone out Captain Blueberry. Has taken a ton of damage beforehand, but Riven comes in to help. Eulalia is still alive, and Talent PA zones out Captain Blueberry. Captain Blueberry trades kills with Eulalia, but Talent PA now continuing to chase off Hayfarder, and this is a really good spot for BPB. They do hold the 3-cap right now, so they just have to get a couple kills and force the fight away and then try to regroup. There aren't any revives available for PECS at the moment. They just respawned. They are now below 25-32. They have to make one last play to try to regain the 3-cap or at least stop the clock.
There's a lot of Frozen Hearts and a couple of Randuin's Omens on Blind Pig Banthers' side of the map here. They're going for a really attack speed slow focused build here. And nice Churn the Waters for Fizz there. Be able to make short work of Cogmon. That's going to definitely swing the fight in a different direction. It's a 4v3 now. Even with the tower, though, the tower not quite getting off a ton of damage there, but certainly being a help. They throw down a defensive garrison on that tower to make it a little bit difficult to cap. We got the Infinite Duress on Booberry. Eulalia wants to get Booberry down. Are they going to get this neutral? Yes! The clock has been stopped, 3-32. PECS can still take this game.
And Infeed, meanwhile, tried to go for the neutralize down at the Boneyard. Jaja had left the lane to try to assist top, decides no, needs to come back bot, gets the garrison down, and now the 3-cap goes back in favor of PECS. They only have 3 energy left, so the instant they lose out on a fight, they will be taken out from this game 1, but they are slowly ticking away from Blind Pig Banditos. Blind Pig Banditos ticking down now at the 20-point mark for the next energy. It's gonna come down to just a do or die move from both teams right now, and Painkiller, not in the best of positions, gets zoned out, is just single-handedly trying to defend this point. Not in a good place. Chusha Barrage misses all the enemy champions. That's going to matter quite a bit in the upcoming fight as Ezreal comes up to join his teammates. Can they hold on to it long enough? Last time around, PECS made this fight end at the 9.7 point mark. There's the crescendo. BPB goes all in onto this tower, but there's the stasis from commentators stalling the fight, and PECS may be able to win out this game. The minions are ticking down against Windmill as the fight continues, but the Nexus is going. No, the neutralize does happen thanks to the minions, and BPB stalls the clock at 3-3. It all depends on how the fight ends. However, BPB loses all their damage, and so Mike will get taken down, leaving PECS open to capture the Windmill.
And pays Evelyn Childsport in a very dramatic conclusion is going to take game 1.
Wow. That was incredible. And talk about minions being MVP. I mean, they weren't able to win out after that fight, but the minions did make it a lot more dramatic in getting, in getting that neutralized up at the Windmill.